Now it's time for us to work a little bit on our website project. So first, I'm going to go to the website project that we started earlier, and let's open up our index page. I'll open it up in the browser and in my text application. The last time we left our home page, we had paragraphs blocking out all of the text, but now that we know that we can use headings in here, we'll set that up as well. I'll switch the first block tag to a heading 1 for the open and close, and the second one to a heading 2. And now let's go ahead and set up the main section tags for our page. I'll use the header tag to leave a place at the top for our branding information, and of course a close header. And I'll make space for a footer section at the bottom. I want to include a little copyright notice, so let me add that to the footer section. I'm going to use our copyright symbol that we learned earlier, ampersand copy, semicolon at the end, and then we'll use a name for our fake company, San Francisco Tours. Now, just in case we happen to have more sections, I'm going to add a section tag starting right above the H2 tag, and we'll close it right above the footer. Now let's save our changes, and let's see what our new page looks like. I'll go out and refresh the page, and you can see that already our page is shaping up to be a little bit nicer looking and a little bit easier to read. Now I'd like to also use what we've learned to set up a few more pages. So let's go back to the Chapter 2 folder, and we'll open up the SF Tour Pages text file. As you can see here, I've got a few San Francisco attractions listed, and down below we have titles and some text for each one of those pages that we're going to make representing all those tourist attractions. First of all, I'd like to add the list of attractions to my home page. So let's just select that text right here at the top, and we'll go back to our home page, and I'll create another section down below the first one. We'll add a new section tag, and I'll put in a closer. It's a good idea to close your tags as you make them. And then let's add that text in the middle. Now here's a chance for us to use what we learned about lists to format our text. First of all, San Francisco Hotspots appears to be a little bit of a header, so I'll use an H3 tag for that, and end it with a close H3. And then let's set up our list. I'll use an unordered list, since these don't really have any specific order, and that's a UL tag. We'll close it at the bottom with a close UL tag. And we'll add LI tags to each one of the elements. I'll use copy and paste here to make it a little faster. And again, I've got to close those LI tags. We'll copy and paste down to the other items. And I can even remove the white space in here, since that's not really helping us figure out what the breaks of our text is. Let's save our changes, and let's see how it looks. Now we've got our hotspots list down below in section 2, and our footer down below that. Now I still need to create those other pages, but we can make use of the work we've already done by just pasting new content into our index page and using it as a sort of template. If you're going to do this, make sure that you don't save over the original file that you're working on. Now I'll start by creating a page for cable cars, and the very first thing I'm going to do is save this document with a new name. I'll just call it cable-cars.html. We do see a lot of people using different naming conventions for their files, but I tend to use dashes in mind because spaces inside of your file names will create some unusual characters in the addresses of your pages. I'll click Save, and now I've saved a copy of my index page as the Cable Cars page. Let's go back over to the Tour Pages text, and I'll just copy the content out of the file that we need. First of all, we've got a heading, Cable Cars, so I'll copy that, and we'll use that to replace our H2 heading. And second of all, I've got a few paragraphs down here that we're going to use as content on the page. So I'll just scroll down and select all of it, and I'll use that to replace the content that we had in our old home page. I'll grab everything out of this paragraph, and I'll even go ahead and write over the second section, since we're only going to have one section on our cable car page. And I'll just paste my cable car content over the top of it. And now you can see we only need to set up the paragraphs. I'll set up each one of these text blocks with a begin paragraph tag, and of course they all need a closer at the end. And last but not least, it's a good idea when you're making a new page to be thinking about the title as well, which is right up here in the head of our document. So I'm just going to change that from Tour San Francisco to Cable Cars. We'll save our changes to our page, and let's go try it out. Now, we don't have this one open in the browser yet, so I'm just going to go back down to my website project folder. I'm going to double-click my Cable Cars page, and there we can see it's looking pretty good. Now, I'm going to leave you with a little practice to set up the other pages. Through the magic of video, I have my pages all completed, and you should end up with something like this. We have the index page and the Cable Cars page that we made on screen, and you should have created a Chinatown page, a Fisherman's Wharf page, and a Pier 39 page. And if I open those up, you can see that they've all got basically the same kind of format, so that we're starting off with a nice consistent site. And now that we've got a handle on formatting text with tags, in our next chapter, we're going to be taking a look at links.